Hello and welcome to Lab Talk. This is a series of tips and tutorials to help you get the most out of our products in our lab, in your lab, I should say. Specifically, we want to help you guys work on everyday things to keep the productivity in your lab at a high level and make sure that you're getting to meaningful results quicker. So today's topic is around how to optimize sample storage organization. We wanted to really focus in on how to really optimize that sample security as well as organization in those cold storage units. And today we have a real treat. We have Ellie Montgomery. Ellie is one of our scientists here. She's an application scientist in the cold storage business here at Thermo Fisher Scientific, and she will be joining us to give us some tips on sample storage. Welcome, Ellie.
Hi, Angela. It's so great to be here with you all in the Immersive Lab, as always. It's always such a pleasure joining for Lab Talks. And yes, today we're going to talk about optimizing your sample storage organization, something that we don't always think about in the lab, but it's a very important basic principle that it's really effective to increase your work efficiencies. And why is organization of your laboratory refrigerators and freezers so important in the laboratory? So, number one, efficient use of space. Keeping our refrigerators and freezers organized ensures that we're maximizing the available space in our refrigerators, freezers. Proper organization also allows for maximum storage capacity, minimizing the need for additional equipment or storage solutions. So instead of adding refrigerators, freezers, sometimes just that organization step will help us maximize our current laboratory refrigerators and freezers. It allows better access to our samples. An organized fridge or freezer enables easy access to samples, reducing time and effort required to find specific items. This is particularly important in time-sensitive experiments or when dealing with perishable samples, especially those that have very limited lifetime use, enzymes and reagents such as very temperature sensitive samples. It protects our sample integrity. Proper organization helps maintain the integrity of samples by reducing the risk of cross-contamination or misplacement. It allows for clear labeling, separation of different samples, ensuring their identity and quality are preserved. It also protects our safety and compliance. Organized lab refrigerators and freezers contribute to a safer working environment through proper storage and organization. Hazardous or volatile materials should be separated into specialty refrigerators and freezers as well. That also prevents accidents and ensures compliance with safety regulations. It also facilitates regular maintenance and cleaning, promoting clean, safe atmosphere in the laboratory setting. It's also really cost effective to keep a good organized cold storage. An organized system reduces the chance of samples being forgotten or expired, minimizing waste and the need for repeated experiments, because if we're using expired reagents, of course, they're not as effective. This can result in cost savings for the laboratory in terms of materials, time, and resources. So let's dive in, give you some tips and tricks and laboratory best practices for optimizing and organizing your laboratory refrigerators and freezers. Let's just start by categorizing your reagents, samples, and buffers and labeling them properly with the type of sample, buffer, or reagent, expiration dates, and use consistent labeling. So everybody in the lab should agree on specific nomenclature, how they're going to label things where expiration dates are located on that label so that everybody knows to look in the same place. Also, color coded labels are very helpful, and that can be as simple as different color lab tape for different reagents or samples. And as well, the use of barcode systems can be implemented in refrigerators and freezers as well. That makes everything very simple with simple barcode readers. Oh, wait a minute. I hear that Megan is over at the Immersive Lab now doing some organizing and decluttering. Hi, Megan. I see that this refrigerator could use quite a bit of organization. So, have you started categorizing any of these bottles? It looks like they're just kind of a mishmash there. Um, Maybe just categorize everything into like different reagents, label them properly, and make sure we have expiration dates located on the visible portion facing front. That's fantastic. And what a difference just categorizing and labeling all of your bottles makes in the laboratory, makes everything very easy to find. Megan, that looks so much better already. Just doing that first step. What a difference. Step number two, let's start utilizing some storage containers in the lab to help kind of contain the smaller items. Um, do we have a bin? I see a bin that we could use for the smaller items, some of the smaller tubes and bottles. That would be a great help to kind of corral those small items into one central place. That is also going to help maintain order and prevent cross contamination. And it's going to help us maximize space. Those things always tend to get really spread out in the lab. Oh, that's such a huge improvement. Thank you, Megan. That looks really great. And all of those small items are now neat and tidy in the lab. So let's start thinking about how we use our samples. Arranging those samples strategically is really going to help access our needed samples on a daily basis. And then things we don't use as much. Why don't we place those toward the back? The things that maybe we only need to go in once a week, something like that, like all of the big bottles and reagents. The smaller samples we can place up front and in centrally located areas. And what that's going to do is um, organizing less frequently used items toward the back or on higher shelves or lower shelves is going to ensure efficient retrieval without disturbing the overall organization. So, putting larger items toward the back or on lower or higher shelves is not going to disrupt or get in the way of accessing our daily use samples. Oh, fantastic. I can see we can reach the smaller things much easier now. And step number 4, just an overall decluttering. And we can do that on a weekly basis, maybe at the end of the week. Maintain Maintains a clean, clutter-free environment in the lab. Regularly cleaning and decluttering the fridge or freezer prevents the accumulation of unnecessary, expired, and unused samples promptly, and that avoids confusion and maintains space for new things coming into the refrigerators or freezers. So, Megan, do you see anything that could be just taken out of the refrigerator? Anything expired? Oh, yeah. These reagent kits expired in the 90s. So let's get rid of those, properly dispose of them, and get them out of that fridge. Those are gone. Wow, just emptying out unneeded or expired items really frees up a lot of space and helps us reorganize. Um, that this refrigerator is starting to look really amazing. Um, all right, let's move on to number 5, sample sensitivity. We want to avoid overloading or overstacking our samples to allow proper airflow so that the refrigerator remains at a constant temperature from top to bottom and front to back. So, really stacking those samples really impedes airflow in the refrigerator or freezer. So, you want to let the samples breathe, so to speak. Be mindful of samples that are temperature sensitive as well. For instance, in our laboratory freezers, enzymes, other reagent kits can be extremely temperature sensitive. So, door openings and closings over time, taking those samples out can really affect the long term integrity of those. Um, so, we can also use insulated um, coolers, tube coolers, to help protect those samples, especially when we're taking them out of the freezer. And it also organizes things like enzymes. Um, and finally, establishing regular inventory checks. Um, Conduct regular inventory checks to track sample quantities, expiration date, and restocking needs. This helps prevent shortages, ensures proper management of inventory. So, Megan is just going through organizing all of those enzymes in a little cooler, and you can place that cooler right in into the freezer. We're just using that as an example in the refrigerator. Of course, those very temperature sensitive samples would be kept at -20 manual defrost. That looks so good, Megan. So now for the inventory checks, we can go through once a month and do an inventory check and incorporate that as part of our laboratory document organization systems. So, really communicating those monthly inventory checks to the person that does the lab inventory and ordering, and developing a lab wide system is going to be very important and keep you from running out of those really important, crucial reagents used in your experiments. The documentation can be shared with other lab members to maintain consistency and facilitate collaboration. So, just that great communication, it can be a very simple system, but using that as part of your monthly inventory control in the lab will really help out your lab manager, and maybe dedicating one person to do that every month is a great way to maintain proper inventory in the lab. That refrigerator looks so much better. Um, Great organization tips. Megan, thank you for really turning that refrigerator around from a mess to an organized, very good workflow in that refrigerator. So, just to recap, sort items in the fridge or freezer based on categories such as sample type, project, or expiration date. We want to use clear and consistent labeling to easily identify and locate specific samples. This can be achieved through color coded labels, barcode systems, or simply using permanent markers. Number 2, use storage containers. Use storage containers or bins to group similar items together, especially small items. This helps to maintain order, prevent cross contamination, and minimize the use of space. Number three, arrange samples strategically. Place frequently accessed items within easy reach while organizing less frequently used items toward the back or on higher or lower shelves. This ensures efficient retrieval without disturbing the overall organization. Number four, maintain a clean and clutter free environment by regularly cleaning, decluttering the refrigerator or freezer to prevent the accumulation of necessary items. Remove expired or unused samples promptly to avoid confusion and maintain space for new samples. Number five, make sure we're placing the location of our samples in good places. Be mindful of your sample. If it's temperature sensitive, and avoid overloading or stacking products, which could reduce proper airflow. Number six, establish a regular inventory check. Conduct regular checks to track sample quantities, expiration dates, and restocking needs. This helps prevent shortages and ensure proper management of inventory. And finally, probably most importantly, establish a document organization system. Keeping record of the organization system used in the refrigerator or freezer, really, and sharing that documentation with other lab members to maintain consistency, facilitate collaboration, and proper inventory control of your reagents and samples. And those tips are really going to add to your lab organization in your cold storage. And it's really going to increase your efficiency and workflow when you start doing experiments as well.